I'm Rabbi Alan Tufts here at Temple Bethel in Hollywood, Florida. And as I do every week, I'm here to discuss with you this week's Torah portion, which happens to be ShelachLecha. It begins with the 13th chapter of the book of Numbers. In Hebrew we read, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, ShelachLecha anashim v'yaturu et Eretz Canaan asher ani noten livnei Yisrael. And the Eternal One spoke to Moses, saying, Send notables to scout the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelite people. Now, it's interesting to note that the word the phrase ShelachLecha is, when you translate it exactly, it says, send for yourself. Send for yourself. ShelachLecha. Rashi says that God did not require the Israelites to send spies into the land to scout out Canaan. But apparently the people wanted to do this. It wasn't a bad idea particularly, but it wasn't something that God required. So Moses goes ahead and he chooses one important person from each of the 12 tribes to form this scouting party. And he gives them very specific instructions. He tells them that they are to look at the land. Is the land good? Is it productive? Is it wooded or is it not wooded? He says, tell me if the people are strong or are they weak? Do they live in fortified cities or do they live out in open encampments? And he also goes to great lengths to tell them to bring back some of the fruit of the land. So the people go into the land of Canaan and they look at it from bottom to top and from top to bottom. 40 days later, they come to report to Moses and to the Israelite people. And they begin to give their report in the following way. They say, the land to which you sent us indeed is a land flowing with milk and honey. And then they begin to switch their story a little bit. They begin to criticize what they found there, to find something dangerous or something negative. They say, the people, however, who live there are of enormous physical stature. They refer to them as Anakim. In Hebrew, Anak means giant. And the Torah portion tells us that Caleb, who was one of the spies, realizes where this report is going. And he stands up and he says, but we can certainly conquer this land. We certainly have the power to do this. Later on, we're told that also Joshua backs up Caleb's take of things. But the 10 spies who are against going into the land, they continue to talk about how big the people are. They say that, and they go back on what they said about the land. They said, this is a land that devours its inhabitants. The people were so big, they say, that we looked as grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we must have looked to them. Well, that's the key to the whole story. They lacked confidence. They lacked faith in themselves and in God. And that's why they appeared so small to themselves. The question is this: what was the sin of these spies who, we might say, wimped out? Was their sin pessimism? I don't believe so, because Moses was willing to hear hard news. He says, you tell me if they're strong or they're weak, whether they're many or they're few. He wanted to know the good and the bad. So Moses was open to a skeptical kind of report. Was it their fear? Fear in itself is not a sin. Fear is an appropriate emotion when we confront a danger. But they took it a step further. They allowed their fear to overcome their true mission, which was to go in and conquer the land. They allowed fear to cloud their judgment and to actually make them lie about what they saw. And so I think a message that we take from this Torah portion is this, that we must never allow fear to overcome us. That fear has its place, but we must never allow fear to take us away from our true destiny in life, whatever that happens to be. Shabbat Shalom.